numerical problem on increment analysis. I had given it, and you're supposed to find which alternative is better actually. So the M error for the same is given. It is given as 12%, right? So that is your starting point actually, and the in this it's a different problem where the investment opportunities are the same. So both alternatives are having the same investment opportunities. But if you're going with the IRR method, selection of individual IRR, C1 has got a better this thing compared to C2, right? So in this case, since it is a different type of numerical where your investments are the same, you have to start with the start with the subtraction, that is with from C1 minus C2, because alternative C1 has got a higher IRR. So you have to start with that. So you have to start with C1 minus C2 and then compare which alternative is better. You can, straight away see at M error of 12% itself and find which whether C1 is better than C2 or not actually. So did anyone of you solve this particular numerical? Have we got the answers for this? If not, not an issue. So here is a solution for that actually. So what actually happens over here is your investment actually shifts. Okay, it shifts actually by a year. So your 1 year becomes, the first year becomes 0 in this particular case. Okay, so it is minus 5320, then the returns are 450, 4450, 2219. So return value changes. So instead of 4 years, the life becomes only 3 years actually. So did you solve the particular numerical problem? So this is how the equation looks. In fact, it is considered for 10% actually, starting with 10%, which is wrong. It should be with 12% initially, but the first part is wrong because it was just like that done actually. So you have to start with 12% because MRR is given as 12%. If the MRR is given as 10%, then this would have been right. So for 12%, what we get over here is again positive, right? It is 288.54. So this can be your stopping point also to say that alternative C1 is better than alternative C2. Okay. So moving further with the same question, we are trying to find what is the IRR for this actually. So straight away we go to 15% and check, and we get a negative IRR for 15%. So when comparing that two different IRR values, you get IRR of C1 minus C2 equal to 14.72%. So that means C1 minus C2 of 14.72 is greater than MRR of 12%. So you have to select the alternative C1. Clear? Any doubts here? Okay, we'll move on to one more numerical where, before I move to replacement, I would like to discuss this particular problem where it's based on uh, the number of alternatives are more actually. So, yeah, okay. So please make a note of this particular question. So there are three alternatives given, right? MRR is given as 15%. All the three alternatives qualify. Okay. Suppose there is, all the three alternatives, the IRR of alternative D2 is better than that of IRR of D1 and D3. Suppose there is one more alternative D4 and the investment say is around minus 3,000, but the IRR is less than 15%. Say it is 14.72%. Are you going to consider that particular alternative? Suppose there is one more alternative D4. The investment is minus 3,000, but the IRR is 14.72%. Will it be considered for the incremental analysis, or are you going to consider it for the incremental analysis? Yes or no? No. Yes, because it doesn't call it. Suppose you consider it, then there are all possibilities that you'll be losing marks actually, right? So please don't consider that particular alternative. Alternative which is less than MRR of 15%. Please don't consider it for the incremental analysis. Now, one important step you need to remember is you need to arrange the alternatives according to their increasing order or according to the descending order actually. So the alternative, the lower investment will be considered first actually, that is D2 will be considered first, then D1, then D3. So the comparison here will be done between D1 and D2 first, and whichever is better will be then separated against D3. Okay, so first compare D1 and D2, right? You have to rearrange the alternatives according to the increasing order. See, this is an important step you need to remember. You cannot do just like that. Okay, this step, because what will happen in case you do straight away take D2 and D3 you compare, right? You get a particular this thing and you compare that with the D1 and you get the answer to be different. Your entire thing goes down. So always arrange according to the increasing order or according to the decreasing order actually. So we are arranging it according to the increasing order. So first will come is D2, then D1 and then D3. So subtract D1 minus D2 and see which alternative is better, right? Subtract D1 minus D2 and see which alternative is better. Compare that with D3. See, expect such type of questions to come for your tests or your assignment or even your sessionals. Okay, so I'm giving you 10 minutes time to solve it, or maybe like if you want more time you can ask me. Time is 8:20 now actually, so by 8:30 if you can give me the answer, it will be good. Okay. So only one of you have answered. I'm waiting for the others to answer. Okay, so we will move on to the solution. So first rearranging it, then comparing d1 minus d2, which is better actually, right? d1 minus d2. So as I said, you have to rearrange it actually. Your d2 is lesser. So d2, d1, d3. So subtract d1 minus d2 and see which is better, right? So here when you're comparing it, you get a new set of cash flows. You actually the cash flow is not shown here, but you have to draw the cash flow actually. And when you do NPV or NPW is equal to 0, what you get over here is incremental IRR D1 minus D2 is 27.61%. So D1 minus D2 is greater than MARR now. So select D1, right? Select D1. So Yatin, you need to just check it actually. Like you might have made a small mistake. Please look into your calculations part. Okay, so select D1 minus select D1 over here. D2 is now eliminated actually. Okay, clear. So just go through this. I'm giving you 2 minutes time or maybe 5 minutes time. Just go through this. Just try to understand what is done over here, right? Yes. Now when you're comparing, yeah, you're right, Yatin. So comparing D1 and D3. So you have to subtract D3 minus D1. So you got a new set of cash flows over here. So again, equating to zero, equating the equation to zero, minus 1000 plus 1000 p by f I comma 2 plus 200 p by f I comma 3 is equal to 0. You get IRR equal to 8.8%, whereas your MRR is 15%. So that means IRR D3 minus D1 is lesser than MRR of 8.8%, and thereby you're rejecting alternative D3. So here you find that alternative D1 is better than that of alternative D3 as well as alternative D2. So thus out of 3,000 available for investment, only 2,000 is actually invested in on D1 actually. 1,000 amount, 1,000 rupees, $1,000 is retained at MRR of 15%. See, there are many similar kind of problems given in the reference books. You can go through that. Actually, you can try to solve it. I hope you get a solution for that. You can find your own solution. Any doubts, you can come back to me. Right, I'll be able to clear all your doubts. I hope I'm clear with this. Any further doubts, we will, you can ask me now. So I believe that you all are clear with this particular numerical. So we'll move on to the next particular question actually. So whereas this is a particular numerical, if you see, it is having infinite life. Alternative E1 has a life of 3 years. Alternative E2 has a life of only 1 year actually. So it is an infinite life comparison. Now, how are you going to do it? Just like the previous LCM method, right? Remember the LCM method. How are you going to compare the alternatives? So you have to use the LCM method and bring the alternatives of E2 equivalent to that of alternative of E1 actually. So you need to make the reinvestment happen for alternative E2. So here one good thing is that it is between 3 and 1 year actually. If it was between 3 and 2, it then for 6 years, right? You should have considered the LCM where the investment would have been changed. So here you are reinvesting alternative E2 for 3 more years. So it is shown over here actually in this particular, see here, this is alternative E2, right? If you're having any doubts, then you can feel free to ask me. Minus 3,000 is the investment. The returns at the end of the first year is 4,000, right? Again, in 3,000 is invested. Returns at the end of second year is 4,000. Again, 3,000 is invested, and you're getting 4,000. So drawing the cash flow, right? It will be easy for you to understand when I draw the cash flow. So this is your investment of 3,000. Okay, this is your returns. Now, what will happen? You need to make the life of the asset equal. So using the LCM method, you are reinvesting over here. So there is a reinvestment happening here, right? So 3K is reinvested. I'm going to write only 3 here. Now the returns will be 4K, right? Again, there is investment happening of 3K at the end of second year. And your returns are 4. This is at the end of the year 3 actually. Now this will be your actual, what do you say, the cash flows for E2. So minus 3,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 4,000, right? Minus 3,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 4,000. So subtracting E2 minus E1, investment of E2 is more than that of E1. So E2 minus E1 you get minus 1,000, you get 0, 0 and 3,000. So when you draw the cash flow, it will be something like this. So 1000 is coming here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3000 is shown only at the end of the third year. So first 2 years there are no returns. So writing down the equation NPV is equal to 0 minus 1000 plus 3000 P by I comma 3 is equal to 0. So what is the incremental IRR? Did anyone of you get the answer for this? Did anyone of you get the answer for this? So I discussed the numerical, how it has to be taken, what are the things that has to be done. Main confusion is in this part, how this arrives actually, right? So I have clarified over here with the help of the cash flow. I have shown the new cash flows. I have compared E2 minus E1. Now I need the answer for incremental IRR. Equation is written. Only thing you need to find out which is better. E2 is better or E1 is better. Did anyone get the answer? Okay. Yes, E2 is selected because you get E2 minus E1 equal to 40% or 42%, if I remember. Right? So E2 minus E1 you get equal to 40%, close to 40% or maybe 42 point something. It's over 40, whatever it is. Yeah. So with this, I complete the incremental analysis. The topic of IRR and incremental is done. So we will move on to the next topic that is called as the replacement analysis. Okay. So any doubts here? Any doubts in this part till now? Any doubts? No doubts? So you guys are clear with this particular topic? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move on to the next chapter. It's a very interesting chapter. It's called as replacement analysis. So moving on to the next topic called as the replacement analysis. Now, since the beginning of time value of money, we were discussing about only one thing, that is decision making. Decision making is very important when it comes to industrial sectors, right? You cannot delay the procedure even for particularly in the case of doctors, right? For them, decision making is very important. What has to be done? Because it has to be done on the spot. It cannot be delayed. Actually, the decision cannot be delayed. They have to do it then and there itself. So similarly over here, decision making is very important for industries, for companies. So replacement is one of the factors where they need to consider it. Actually, see, a particular machine has its own benefits as well as also disadvantages in terms of aging. Actually, once it's becomes old, or it is out of say the competition, or it is totally like the technology is old, what happens over there? Your competitors comes in, they take over the market, and that's where you struggle. Your product may be really good, but your delivery actually matters a lot, right? Your delivery times matters a lot. A delay will actually cause in leading to a lot of I should say, like, your revenues also will be hit in the long run. So what is replacement analysis? Methods, numericals, or problems will be discussed in this topic. So basically, right, it says that if a firm wants to be in the same business completely, it has to take a decision whether to replace the old equipment or existing equipment, or to retain by taking the cost of maintenance and operation into account. So example is manufacturing machines, software packages, or even versions. Now I would like to give an example. Like when I started my career, I started working in an Indian firm. Actually, I always thought that working for an Indian firm will uh, give me the boost because I'm associated with the country, all this. But the, we were into manufacture of overhead cranes. It was a very good company where there were not many competitors in the country. There was one company based out of uh, Coimbatore. Apart from that, there are other players also across the country. But the main competitor later on was from German side actually, and they were actually into sophisticated or even much better kind of machines, equipments. Ours was totally indigenous, and it was made for the local as well as for the industry or for the steel plants. So there were different type of cranes that were been manufactured, that is class 1 duty, class 2, class 3, and class 4 duties actually. So we were we were competing in all the four different sectors actually. But due to the approach, that is like we didn't have the approach in North India, since it was based out of Bangalore. And the kind of we had the sales representatives, they were not that active, and they were only like promoting in certain regions actually. So but we were able to get the orders from the steel plants, from Tata Steel, that is Tata Steel, as well as from uh, sorry, even in Vizag we had a representative. We had even in Odisha, as well as in Jharkhand, where the steel plants are actually based out. So Bhilai steel plant, there are so many actually. If I remember, there were so many steel plants we had actually catered to. Of course, there were, apart from that, there were other manufacturers like uh, other customers like Toyota or Honda, or even I should say like uh, Ford, Hyundai, who were also like into who are needing this particular cranes. Now, the delivery of the equipments from our side, a main the basic equipment is called as a hoist. Hoist is nothing but for lifting as well as for the cross travel, that is movement of sideways. So hoist itself used to take around 3.5 to 4 months, whereas the German manufacturer used to deliver that within 3 months time. So they had an upper hand. The reason why we failed to meet the requirement was we were using a very old machines, right? Very old machines. We are trying to retain it. we are trying to fix those machines and trying to work on it. Actually, company never thought of replacing that machine with the better or the competitive one. So the market was actually like uh, it was more towards all this the German competitor. Actually, they were bagging orders. They had very good reputation also because of their type of product they offered, and they had sold huge cranes throughout the world actually. So they had that edge compared to our company. But later on, we also tied up with the German company, and that's where we were able to deliver the cranes within a span of or within 3 months time or 3.5 months time actually. So we were also able to compete. But since it was a tie up, actually, like the cost also was not that reasonable. It was slightly expensive compared to that of the other German company. So the company lost many orders, but wherever possible, wherever the company had that reputation, we were able to back those orders actually. But in many places, due to the deliveries, due to the delays, we were losing the orders. Because what happens is, when a company or when a factory is set up, right, they have the machineries coming from different parts of the country or different parts of the world actually, right? So it's like, I don't know how many of you seen the shop floor, right? A shop floor is consists of so many machines, right? So many machines, and cranes are or hoists are one of the machines that is very important. So hoist should be there in place. Once the machines comes, it becomes very, very difficult to install the cranes or the hoist. So hoists are to be actually put first, then the other machines are to be done. Because I have seen this particular thing, when actually like expansion was going on, and there was a delay from our company, and I should actually like appreciate the installers who did a fantastic job. They did it, in spite of the machines being there, they did it with the limited space. So these are the kind of things. So to be competitive, you need to you know change. You cannot stay the same. You have to be in line with the competition. If you are not in line with the competition, then definitely you will suffer, right? So replacement is one of the important things. It is a decision of the company. Of course, there should be funding that is available. If there are no funds, then it becomes very difficult for the company to move on. So there are two basic reasons for replacement of the equipment. So one is due to the physical impairment of the various parts, that is due to the wear and tear of the equipments. Actually, yes, it can happen. Wear and tear can lead to damage of the machine. Spare parts may not be available. It's very difficult. For example, say that you are having a old ambassador car, right? And you are still using the car, but due to the wear and tear, the parts are not available, right? So it is not that easy to procure those parts actually. So you need to place an order. You need to wait for months together to get the order. So it is not that easy. Next is about obsolescence of the equipment. Now the equipment itself is not there in the market. Ambassador car, the manufacturing itself is not happening in the market. So from where will you get the parts? They stopped it actually. But on a limited run, there is a possibility they can get those you know parts available. But if the company is totally shut down, then it becomes very difficult. But there are outside manufacturers who can actually like make a duplicate part and also give to you. But it all matters with the reliability, how reliable the part is. Okay, so these are the basic reasons. So replacement, physical impairment, obsolescence. Obsolescence can be due to the functional or even economical. Now functional is parts are actually like not available. Even if it is available, how good it is. Economical, what are the prices that you're going to pay, right? Whether it is cheaper or whether it is expensive. If it is expensive, then how much more are you going to pay for it actually, right? So in replacement, these are the two terms you need to remember. One is a defender, other one is a challenger. Now defender is the old equipment or the existing equipment that is being considered for replacement. The challenge is nothing but the asset that is proposed to be replaced. Okay, so these are the two important terms you need to remember when it comes to replacement analysis. Now, there are certain features in replacement. So the economic characteristics of two alternatives are usually not the similar. Now, the life of the asset, the Challenger as well as the Defender. Defender is an old equipment, Challenger is a new one. The life is not the same. The operating costs are not the same. The salvage values are also not the same, right? So duration of the cash flows for both assets will be different. They won't be the same. The remaining life of the asset being considered for replacement usually is short and its future can't be estimated with relative certainty. So this is about the features of the Defender as well as the cash flow. Okay. Now there are certain terminologies that you need to keep in mind. Sunk cost. Any idea what does this mean? What is a sunk cost? Sunk cost. Yeah, I think so. Somebody would like to answer. AJ. AG, sorry. Would you like to answer? What is a sunk cost? What do you mean by the term sunk cost? It's a very important thing you need to remember or keep in mind. Okay, now I'll put it in this way. So here an example is given. Suppose a machine acquired for 50,000 3 years ago has a book value of 20,000 now, right? The 30,000 is a sunk cost which will not affect the future decision involving its replacement. So equipment was purchased 3 years ago for 50,000. See, the book value and the market value both are not the same. They are different. Now, book value of the machine is $20,000, right? That is the present value of the particular machine. the 30,000 is a sunk cost. That means whatever you have invested in the machine, you cannot recover it back, or it cannot be retrieved, right? So 30,000 state is a sunk cost, and it cannot be used for any of your, calculations part. Say like you have purchased a bike for 3 lakhs, and after 3 years you're selling it for 1.5 lakhs, but you have negotiated with the buyer for 1.5, but in say like before you hand it over to him, say the brake fails or something happens, the battery dies off. Now you need to fix it, right? That's an additional cost that is coming on you, not on the buyer. You're not going to put that cost on the buyer. You cannot add it on the buyer actually. So that is nothing but the sunk cost. The money that you invested cannot be retrieved. Now, present book value minus the market value will actually give you the sunk cost. The present book value minus the sunk cost is nothing but the present book value minus the market value. Right? Now, what is economic life? So I'll be discussing about economic life in detail. So estimating economic life in an organization is very useful. So what actually happens, I will tell you about this when we take up the economic life. There's a very important chapter, or a topic I should say, in replacement. Right? So moving on to the different methods actually. So first method we'll be discussing is the insider's point of view, right? Or the cash flow approach. So I'll start from the fourth method, then move on to the third, then move on to the second, then come to the first. So 4, 3, 2, 1. So cash flow approach will be taken first, right? I'll tell you why, because it is very easy to understand the cash flow approach. Then we'll move to the outsider's point of view, then the capital recovery return, then the economic life of an asset. So you need to make a note of these 4 methods, right? And one important thing, all the methods will be using the annual worth method, right? All the annual worth approach. All the methods will be using, because you are calculating this based on the annual worth. Say for a company, they don't see it at the beginning or at the end, what is happening at the end. They see what is happening every year. Their turnover is decided on yearly basis. They don't decide the turnover on the beginning of that project or end of that project actually. So they decide it on a yearly basis. So annual worth method should give you, or should actually help you in finding which particular asset is better, whether it is a defender or whether it is a challenger. Okay, so we'll move on to the cash flow approach. Okay, so as I told you, we are using the annual worth method here. So please make a note of this particular numerical. So it says a 3-year-old machine may be replaced with either of the 2 assets. Current data for each alternative is given below. Using the cash flow approach and an interest rate of 18% per year, determine which is the best. So you got the current asset, you got the challenger 1, as well as you got the challenger 2 actually. Now defender trade in business is nothing but the exchange. Okay, it is the exchange. So draw the cash flow for all the 3 assets. Once you note down the question, draw the cash flow for all the 3 assets. Okay, we'll move on to the solution part. So since the defender has got no investment, right? Even if the investment was given, it would have been a sunk cost. But if the book value or the market value was given, then it could have been considered actually. So it shows only the maintenance cost as well as the salvage value. So your annual worth or equivalent annual worth will be 9,000 minus 1,500 A by F I comma 5. So this is for the defender. Okay, 9,000 minus 1,500 A by F 18% comma 5. So what you get over here is nothing but 8,790.33. This is the cost of the defender actually. Okay, so yeah, I think so some minor mistake, Siva. So please have a look at it. So this is the cost of the defender. Now moving on to the challenger 1. Now in the question it says that defender trade in business. That means challenger will be paying a certain amount of money for the defender. So for the defender, it's just an exchange. It is just an exchange actually, right? So if you look at the cash flow, so this is what I'm saying. It is a direct deal between the company, right? The company is directly dealing between, the it's a deal between the company and the salesperson, right? Now the salesperson is offering a new machine, which will cost 30,000, and he is also offering 10,500 for the defender machine. So this will be the cost of the defender actually, right? This is the defender trade in business. Okay, so don't be confused. So it says that 30,000 minus 10,500 will be the difference, because 10,500 is just like, you're exchanging your old mobile for a new mobile. You are trading yourself, right? You're not getting any middleman into picture, or you're not selling it outside. Say like these days, exchange offer can fetch you better. It all depends upon what type of mobile it is, what model it is actually. But if you're going with a car, right? If you're going for an exchange of a car, the showroom won't give you the expected price what you're looking for. Say like yeah, your expectations for a 10-year-old car is around 2 lakhs, right? But the company will give you for 1.5 lakhs actually, right? Or the showroom will give it for 1.5 lakhs. So there is a difference of 50,000. So you prefer to sell it outside. You prefer to sell it outside, right? For a better deal actually. You may get a better amount. Whereas if the company is meeting your requirements, you directly trade, right? So when you're exchanging your mobile, you directly trade over there. You're getting a better deal, you directly trade over there. You get a better price for it actually. But if you're actually like going with the like say like you're not meeting they're not meeting the requirements, you plan to sell it outside, then you try to that is on your head actually, right? So for the challenger one, it is nothing but 30,000 minus 10,500 into A by P, 18% comma 5 plus 4,500. That is your annual, say the cost, minus 3,000 P by A by F, 18% comma 5. So the overall cost comes to 10,316. Overall cost here comes to 10,316. Am I clear? So the overall cost comes to 10,316, right? So this is for your challenger 1. Now moving on to the challenger 2. Same thing, same procedure, right? Same thing, same procedure, but the cost, right? It is equivalent annual cost. EUAC, equivalent annual cost for Challenger 2 is coming to 18,260. So if you compare the Defender with the Challenger 1 and the Challenger 2, you find that the Defender has got a lower cost, much lower cost. So this is about the cash flow approach method. We also call it as the insider's point of view. So I hope there is no doubt related to this particular topic, right? It is all clear. Any doubts over here? See, it is a direct trading between the buyer and the seller. There is no, middleman or no consultant coming over here in this case. So only two parties are involved, right? Only two parties are involved in this case. Now we'll move to the outsider's point of view. Sandilya, please check it once again because
Sir,
no, your
actually, I
15,000.
used the same value from the table.
Okay, 1 second, don't worry. It is 9,000 minus 15,000. What is that 15,000?
1,500. I think I mistaken.
Yeah, okay, yeah. 1,500. Okay, yeah. Please check that, huh? Please check that. So this is about the outsider's point of view, and this is a very interesting method, I should say. Like I just gave a hint about this, when I discussed the insider's point of view. Okay, how outsider's point of view actually works. Now going through the question, right? So I'll just read out the question. So it says that company purchased machine X a year ago for 8,500 with the following characteristics. So machine X was purchased a year ago with the following characteristics. Life was 6 years. The salvage value was 1,000 rupees. Now the operating expenses for the machine came up to 8,000 per year actually. Now at the end of the first year, a salesman offers machine Y for rupees 11,500. Now at the end of 1 year, a salesman offers a new machine which has got a better efficiency, right, for 11,500. Life is again less than that of the Defender machine, which is 5 years, but the salvage value is slightly more, 1,500, and operating cost also is much lesser compared to the Defender machine, which is 5,500 per year. Now the salesman offers, see here, the salesman is offering rupees 3,500 for the machine X if the machine Y is purchased. So he is offering 3,500 for the machine X if the machine Y is purchased. Now what will happen is this appears too low for the company because the best see this appears low to the company, but the best offer the company received elsewhere was only 3,000. So assume an interest rate of 8% and determine the best course of action by taking the outsider's point of view. Now, please remember here there is a company has got a machine X. There is a salesperson who is offering machine Y to them, right? Now, machine X was purchased a year ago for 8,500, whereas end of the first year, that is after one full year is completed, after you're spending the maintenance cost of 8,000, salesman will offer a machine Y for 11,500. Now for the company, uh, since they have spent 8,500 on the machine, 8,000 rupees on maintenance of the machine, right? Total 16,500 is spent within 1 year's time. To spend another 11,500 to buy a new machine is a not that easy task. See, the values look very small over here, but in reality, it is much difficult for the company. It might be in say lakhs or maybe in crores also, right? Now to spend another 11,500, that is 16,500 plus 11,500, will be very difficult for the company because they will be in a year's time they will be spending a total of 28,000, right? They'll be spending a total of 28,000 rupees. That is 8,500 plus 8,000 plus 11,500. So they are not in a position to take a call. The company will not be in a position to take a call. Usually they decide whether what is better. In the previous example, I told you that if you don't get a better offer, like you go to Maruti will sell, ask the price as 1,50,000, but you're looking for 2 lakhs and you sell it outside. In this case, that opportunity is not there because the best offer you received was only 3,000. Now the company itself is offering much better, 3,500, right? Maruti itself is offering 2 lakhs, whereas outsiders are offering you only 1.5 lakhs. So you have to decide whether to exchange the machine or not. So you are not in a position to take a call. So what you do is you hire an outsider. You hire an outsider. Now the outsider is nothing but he's a consultant for the company, right? He's a consultant for the company. Now this outsider will actually work as a buyer for you. The outsider will actually work as a buyer in the sense he will be a prospective buyer. I mean, he will think that he is either going to buy a new equipment or he is going to buy a old equipment. So the outsider will be the decision maker over here for the company on behalf of the company. Now the outsider will decide whether to go ahead or not. Now you just be in the position of the outsider, right? That is, you are the one who's going to buy the equipment. You are actually being in the position of the buyer. You are the one who's going to either buy the equipment or you're not going to buy the equipment actually. You're going to decide between the Defender as well as the Challenger. Suppose if you're buying the Defender machine, what would be the cost that you'll be paying for the Defender? Suppose you plan to buy the Defender machine, what would be the cost that would be paying to buy the Defender machine? That is the machine X. Can somebody tell me? Suppose you plan to buy the Defender machine, what would be the cost? See, the outsider is the one who's going to take a call. Outsider is the one who will be like evaluating. So he will be on the buyer's seat, right? He will decide whether to go with the new machine or with the Defender machine. Now, if he wants to buy a new machine, he knows what is the cost of the new machine. That is 11,500. Straight away 11,500 is a cost, so he can pay it and buy it. Whereas if he wants to buy the Defender, what would be the cost he has to pay for it? Hello. What would be the cost of buying a Defender machine? See, Defender is nothing but a used machine, a machine that has been used for 1 year, right? So what would be the cost they have to pay? See, what would be the cost of the Defender machine? See, later don't come to me saying that I didn't understand. I've been giving enough time for you to think over this particular numerical. What is the cost you plan to pay for this? Okay, see, when the outsider or the outsider becomes the buyer, he knows the cost of the new machine to be 11,500. Whereas the cost of the old machine, he knows it to be, it's given in the question itself. The best they can offer is 3,500. So 3,500 is the amount that can be paid in buying the old Defender machine. Right? So the amount comes to 3,500 rupees. So if you see here, the defamation cost is 3,500. The Challenger is 11,500 is given. Annual operating cost is given as 8,000, 5,500. Salvage value is 1,000, 1,500. Now, this will be your new cash flow in calculating the Defender. Right? So the cost of the Defender will be 8,706, right? That is the cost of the Defender, whereas cost of the Challenger will be 8,124, right? 8,124. Now, if you see here, the Defender is actually more, it is expensive compared to that of the Challenger, right? See, when the assets are having equal life, you can continue with the insider's point of view. When the assets are having unequal life or equal life, you can go with the outsider's point of view. For unequal life, please remember, for unequal life, outsider's point of view is the method that has to be used to calculate which asset is better. So please make a note of this. So with this, I actually stop the class. So we will take up the capital recovery as well as economic service life in the next class. So any doubts, you can ask me related to these topics. Okay, so we will conclude here itself. Any doubts we can discuss in the next class. Okay, so next class I'll discuss two other methods and we will take up depreciation. Thank you.